Well, in this podcast, I want to really concentrate on one thing. The one thing I want to concentrate is understanding what is the A all about? What's the B all about? What do we do with the C and what do we do with the D? I want to put this all together. But you know what? In order to be really, really good at this, you have to be liquid with that formula. You have to understand all the little nuances going back and forth. And that's the whole point of this podcast. So remember, what does the A stand for? The A stands for your amplitude, which actually turns out to be your vertical stretch. Your B does not determine the period. That is your horizontal stretch. And don't get stung by the B. Remember, period, especially for sine and cosine, is going to be 2 pi, right, over the B value. So you have to divide by that B value. C, look out, there's a negative here. So remember, all the signs are flipped on that guy. This is going to be your horizontal translation. Yeah, left and right. And your D actually turns out to be your vertical translation, up and down. Isn't that cool? So now, understanding the little nuances of this is what's going to make you really, really understand this formula. And the rest of this is going to go quite quickly. So let's do it. First things first, check this out. There's no number in front of this. Well, yes, there is. It's a 1. So what is the amplitude of this? 1. Look at your B value. Also, a 1. So 2 pi over the B value. Oh, that's easy, 2 pi. Notice there's no horizontal phase shift. Okay, horizontal phase shift is 0. How about your vertical displacement? There's no up and down. That's 0 as well. So how do you do a domain for this? Well, look at the question. The question says for one positive cycle of the graph. So what does this mean? You're going to start here. You're going to go one complete cycle up and down. Ah, cool. Okay, so let's do it. Here we go. So the domain then, remember, is based on your period. You're going to start at 0 because, of course, this tells you to start at 0 right there. Okay, you're going to start at 0. You're going to do a period of pi. So, okay, your x has to be between 0 and guess what? A period of 2 pi. That's how it works. Cool, interesting. What about your range? Your range is based on your amplitude. It's based on your amplitude. Remember, it's going to go up 1. It's going to go down 1. So your range is going to cycle between 1 and -1. From -1 to +1, done. Okay, so now let's start throwing some crazy stuff at you here. Here we go. Ready? Check this out. There's our amplitude. Again, 1. Boom. Look at your B value, 1. So 2 pi over 1 means that the period is 2 pi. But check this out now. Uh-oh, I got a horizontal phase shift. But remember the formula had a negative in it. So that means that this is actually pi over 4. Yup, pi over 4, but to the right. So you're going to shift this entire thing to the right, pi over 4. Is there a vertical displacement? Nope. 0. Okay, so let's check out the domain. Your domain now is not going to start on 0. Check this out. I'm going to tell you right now, your domain does not start on 0. Think about it. This is your graph starting here. It tells you to shift to the right, pi over 4. So your domain starts at pi over 4. So this up and down whole sequence starts at pi over 4. Okay, so I'm going to start it at pi over 4. There it is. Going to x, going to there. But how do I find the ending now? Well, simple. Just add your period to this. I'm going to go from here over 2 pi to here. Well, how do I figure that out then? Well, actually, it's actually quite simple. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to add pi over 4 to this guy. That's where I'm starting because that's my shift. I'm going to take this 2 pi, and add pi over 4 to it. Well, guess what? I'm going to common denominator this 1, which means I'm going to multiply this by 4, multiply this by 4. So look what I get. I got 8 pi over 4 plus pi over 4, giving me, guess what? There's the end of your graph at 9 pi over 4. That's it. That's all I did. All you have to do is add the period to it. And then you've got your entire domain for one complete cycle. And our range, since our amplitude is 1 and I have not shifted this up or down, my range is exactly what I have here, -1 to 1. Cool. Now, let's play some more. Next one I want to play with. Check it out. Look at this next question. This next question has, amplitude of 1. The B is 1. So if the B is 1, we all know that that's 2 pi already. Gosh. Okay, horizontal phase shift. There's no C value. That's 0. Vertical displacement. You got it. It's 5. It's shifted up 5. Okay, so does that affect our domain? Well, no. No, I'm starting at 0. I'm going over 2 pi. My domain has not shifted. No, not at all, because we haven't done this horizontally, and domains are always horizontal. But how about my range? Well, let's think about this for a second. Let me get rid of this stuff so I can just draw it out so you can see it a little bit easier. Okay, think about this. I am now at a midline. Remember, your D value is the midline. So what does this mean? My midline here is at 5. My amplitude, is 1. So add 1 to 5. My highest point is going to be 6. Subtract 1 from 5. My lowest point is going to be 4. The thing is going to cycle. The graph is going to cycle between 4 and 6. So write that down. There's your range. It's going to cycle between 4 and 6. Well, that was easy. Yeah, no kidding. Pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, now let's keep on going. Let me erase some of this because we need all the room we can get for this next question. Check out this next question. It's actually quite remarkable. You ready for this? Oh, baby. Check it out. Here we go. Look at how ugly this is. First off, there's a pi over here. I don't like that over there. So why don't we rearrange this right now? Bring the pi over. This is y equals 2 sine, check it out, x plus 3 pi over 2. Bring the pi over, makes it minus pi. Ah, now I see everything. Don't you? Amplitude, 1. Okay, period. There's a 1 up front. So again, that's that crazy 2 pi over b. So your period is 2 pi. Lovely. But check this out. This is positive 3 pi over 2. Right? Do you remember the formula? It had a minus in it. So guess what? Sure enough, this is my phase shift of 3 pi over 2, but I am actually going left. Fascinating. Vertical displacement? Ha 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 ha. I'm going down by pi. See what I mean? Okay, so this is going to make things quite interesting now. Think about this. Where is my graph going to start? My graph normally through a midline goes up and down. But where's the starting point now? Well, the starting point is here. Minus 3 pi over 2. I've shifted everything left by 3 pi over 2. So my domain then starts at minus 3 pi over 2. Fascinating. Fascinating. Okay, where does it end? Well, check it out. My period is 2 pi. My period is still 2 pi. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this value, we're going to add 2 pi to this, and we're going to determine our final endpoint. Okay, so minus 3 pi over 2. We're going to add 2 pi to this. Okay, well, the problem with this is it's not a fraction yet. Okay, let's make it into a fraction with a common denominator by multiplying the top and the bottom by 2. Oh, check this out. Minus 3 pi over 2 plus 4 pi over 2 means that this guy is going to end at pi over 2. Minus 3 plus 4 is positive 1. So your endpoint is, in fact, pi over 2. Cool. Now, let's go out and play some more. The other thing I want to play with is this. Check this out. Look at this. We have a phase shift, or I should say a vertical displacement. Remember when we brought this over, that made this minus pi. So guess what? We're starting here at minus pi, but check out the amplitude. The amplitude is 1. So the maximum part of the graph is going to be minus pi plus 1. The lowest part of the graph down here is going to be minus pi, you guessed it, minus 1. So there's our range. Our range from minus pi, minus 1, ba-da-ba, y, ba-da-ba, 2 minus pi plus 1. That's how you do it. Now, I got a few more questions for you. So I'm going to pause this podcast for just a couple seconds. I want to rewrite all of my titles here so I can see the rest of these wonderful titles. So give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Check this out. I've got all my titles back here, and let's go out and keep on going with some great questions. Check this out. Look at this one. Hey, that's the amplitude. That's 3. Check out the B value now. Finally, we got something that's different. Okay, there's 2 pi over the B value, giving me, of course, that cancels out, gives me a period of pi. That's going to change a few things for us. That's going to be really, really neat. Okay, let's look at the horizontal phase shift now. Horizontal phase shift, oh, that's 5 pi over 4. That's to the right. Cool. Vertical displacement, there is none. Yes. Okay, so let's start with our domain. Our domain always starts on the first horizontal phase shift. We're starting this at 5 pi over 4. Cool. Da-dun, 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 da-dun. Oh, and that's the next value. Okay. Ta-da. Like that. But my question is, where do we end? Remember, it's based on the period. So if this guy cycles up and down, it ends, guess what? Whatever this period is. Starts here on the phase shift of 5 pi over 4. It ends by adding the period to it. So, okay, we got a little bit of math to do. 5 pi over 4 plus pi. That is our period. Oh, okay, so if that's pi then, common denominator over 4 makes this 4 pi over 4, which ends up being 9 pi over 4. There's our terminating point at 9 pi over 4. Cool. Our amplitude then, check it out. It goes from top to bottom, but we have no vertical displacement, so that's 0. So our amplitude is 3. So up 3, down 3. So I'm going from minus 3, which is our lowest point, to, of course, our highest point, which is positive 3. Well, that ain't so bad, right? Yeah, that's true. It's not so bad at all. Now, let's look at the next question. This is where it becomes really interesting because I'm throwing everything at you in this question. Check it out. First things first about this question. Look at it. It's got an amplitude. Oh, there's a negative there. Our amplitude is -1, right? Remember, amplitude has to be absolute valued. Our amplitude, in fact, here, then, sports fans, our amplitude is 1. Just remember, then our graph then goes down first and then up, right? Remember, this is a vertical reflection. But check this out. Oh boy. Oh boy. I bet you're saying, well, the phase shift is to the left pi. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you have to remember that you have to factor this. I'm throwing everything at you in this question. You must factor that. Why? Because look what you got. You're going to have minus sign. If you factor out the 3, there it is. That value up front has to be an x. So you're going to divide everything by 3. So that makes this plus pi over 3. Okay? Plus 1. Oh my goodness. I did throw everything at you, didn't I? So our period is still based on 3. So, okay, 2 pi divided by the b. Remember, don't get stung. There it is. There's our period, 2 pi over 3. But a horizontal phase shift now is, oh, check it out. That's positive. So I'm going left pi over 3. Aha. Our vertical displacement then is, oh, that's 1. Interesting. Okay, so we got a lot of work to do here. Well, don't forget, when you're doing your domain, you start on your initial point. And in this case, since I've gone left, this initial point is minus pi over 3. Boom, boom, there's our domain. Okay, where does it end? Well, here's something that's really cool. Your period is 2 pi over 3. So you started at pi over 3, then that means you're going to, at minus pi over 3, I should say, right? Because it is shifted to the left. You're going to add 2 pi over 3 to this. You're going to end, well, minus pi plus 2 pi is going to give you just plain old pi over 3. There's where you're going to end. There's your end point, pi over 3. Isn't that cool? Now, how about your wonderful amplitude? Well, so what if you start going down first? Your amplitude is still 1. That's 1. That's 1. So you're still going to cycle between positive 1 and negative 1. It doesn't matter that you're going down first. Your range is still going to be between minus 1 and 1. That negative up front was a thrower for you. It threw you off, didn't it? Well, don't let it throw you off, folks. You're smarter than that. Okay, so let's keep on going. Here we go. Let's look at the very next question. And if you look at the bottom of the podcast there, bottom of the screen, you see the very next question. And the next question is ugly. I'm throwing everything at you on this one. Okay, don't freak out. Let's go. Amplitude. Remember, absolute value of this guy. The amplitude is 2. Aha. Don't forget to factor this guy out. So you're going to take out a 2, right? It's right now, it's 2x minus pi over 3. You're going to take out a 2. Take the 2 out. That means dividing everything by 2. So divide this out by 2 leaves you with an x. That's still a minus, but don't forget, pi over 3 divided by 2 is the same as saying pi over 3 times 1 over 2. So this, in fact, becomes, right, reciprocal, right? So this, in fact, becomes pi over, oh my goodness, pi over 6. Cool. So you're doing a horizontal phase shift. Since this is positive, you're doing a horizontal phase shift of pi over 6. Okay? So let's put the horizontal phase shift of pi over 6 here. But remember, since this is negative, your horizontal phase shift is positive, so you're going to the right. We still haven't dealt with a period yet. Well, hey, don't forget, this guy's your b value. 2 pi over your b value, 2, gives you a period of pi. Sweet. This is going a lot faster now, isn't it? Vertical displacement, minus 5. There you go. You're going down 5. Okay, so now let's clean this up a little bit and let's check things out. Holy smokes. Let's go. Ready? Here we go. Domain. Start at your pi over 6. So pi over 6, and since it's shifted to the right, it's a positive value. Okay. Up it by pi. So here we go. Pi over 6 plus pi, right? Make sure common denominator, multiply top and bottom by 6. Well, no kidding. 6 over 6, right? 6 over 6. So this gives you 7 pi over 6. There's your terminating point. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Okay? Now, let's do our shift here. Let's do our displacement. Our displacement is at minus 5. Your amplitude is 2. So you're going to go up 2 to minus 3. You're going to go down 2 to minus 7. So your range then is from minus 7, right, all the way up to minus 3. That's how it works. Isn't that remarkable? I think I've got one more for you. I've actually got 2 more for you. Let me clean this up. Oh, no, I can do it from here. I can still see it. Let's go. Let's see if we can do these faster. Here we go. Amplitude, 1. Period. 2 pi over 1. 2 pi. Okay. Horizontal phase shift. Obviously, going to be C. The vertical displacement. That's obviously going to be D. So you're going to start on C. Okay, there's your X. And since it's going to be increased by 2 pi, this is C plus 2 pi. Right? Think about this now. Your amplitude is 1. Your midline is D. So what's your lowest point? It's going to be D minus 1. To your high point, which is D plus 1. Oh, that's way too cool. Check this out. The last question. Boy, oh boy, that's beautiful. Let's figure out how it works. Your amplitude is A. Your period is going to be 2 pi over the B value, 2 pi over B. Your horizontal phase shift is going to be C, right? Your vertical displacement is going to be D. Now, remember, you start on C, but you add the period. So C, you start on C, but now you add the period. So this is going to be C plus 2 pi over B. There's the period. Cool, isn't it? Okay, and your displacement is D. Don't forget, your amplitude is A. So it's going to be from D minus A all the way to D plus A. Now, folks, I really apologize for such a long podcast. This guy, in fact, is, oh my goodness, hugely long. But you know what's cool is, yeah, look at that, 20 minutes long. I apologize for that. But look at all the information we got from that. I hope you enjoy it.